Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. David D. James Janeski here, and today I'm going to do a help video for DJs who are just coming into the service, and also maybe DJs or bands who were once a DJ service and want to get back into it and need a little help with finding the right speaker. Today we're going to talk about the different topics and what to look for in a DJ speaker when buying, whether you're on a budget or you have the money to spend to buy or purchase high quality speakers. There are tons of high quality speakers out there. There's PV, Mackie, Bose, Behringer, JBL, and these are all decent speakers. There's a few more I'm sure that I've missed. Now for the low cost DJ speaker, this is where it gets confusing because there's so many out there on the brand. There's so many brands out there on the market. This is for the low budget DJs who are on a low budget, who may be just starting out and don't have a lot of money to spend on speakers, or even if you've been DJing for a long time and you still don't really want to spend a lot of money on a decent sounding speaker. This is what you have to look for when purchasing speakers, and especially when you go to eBay. You're going to type in DJ speakers and there's going to be so many brands that come up, and a lot of them are the not so popular or the lower quality DJ the PA speaker, Pro Audio. You've got different ones like Podium Pro and Pile and acoustic audio, seismic audio, Jamz Sound, Gemini, even no name brand speakers that I see on here, and Technical Pro. Let's see, I'm sure there's a few more in here that I've missed, but yeah, there's so many things you have to look out for when purchasing a speaker. I've had quite a few not so famous brand speakers or the low cost DJ speakers, and there are quite a few that I were not impressed with. I do not care to share that info with you as far as the makes and models of these speakers, so therefore later on, if you want to message me, I can get you on the right path as far as what speakers are okay and which ones to stay away from. I do not wish to give that information out due to the fact that I don't want to be responsible and for getting in trouble and being sued for infringement or anything like that. One thing that you definitely have to look out for, and I stress this very highly, are the speakers that have, they're considered a four-way DJ speaker, and they've got like 3 or 4 tweeters in it, or even 4 bullet tweeters and a horn. First of all, let's start off with the bullet tweeters and the horns. These are piezo horns, piezo or piezo tweeters. These are the cheaper end brand tweeters. And the one thing about these tweeters are the sound is okay, but it's not going to be the highest quality sound. Again, these piezo or piezo tweeters, they're cheaply made. You can buy replacements for anywhere from, I've seen them from $4 to $10. And with that said, they're easy to blow, so they're cheap to replace. And you don't want to be out at a show or at a wedding and your piezo horn decides to quit on you. because it failed due to too much power going into it. Another thing that you need to look for is built-in internal crossovers. If internal crossover, basically what this does, it separates your signal coming from the amplifier. You've got a percentage of the signal for your low end that's going to hit your woofer, and then you have a percentage of the high and mid end signal that's going to go to your tweeter. What you need to do is look for a speaker that has a either one piezo horn, which I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but at least if it only has one, you'll have somewhat decent sound, or a better horn known as a compression drive or a titanium drive horn. And with that said, be careful with purchasing a speaker that doesn't have these two options: an internal crossover and a titanium horn driver for your highs. Again, your piezo. I've used speakers that have I think it had like 4 bullet tweeters in it and a horn, and I tried to use one of them, and then again it didn't have a crossover in it. So what happened was all the sound was coming out of your amplifier for the tweeter itself, your highs, and your bass, your lows, were directed all the way to the tweeters. So basically most of the sound that you had, I would say like 80% of your sound was coming out of those tweeters. The problem with that is now you're going to have this ear-piercing sound coming out, and it's going to be so horrid, so loud that it's actually going to hurt. You can damage the people's ears on the dance floor. In which case, now since most of your power is going to the tweeters itself, now your woofer is not getting any power, or very little power to create any low end. So make sure that your speaker has an internal crossover. That would be the #1 thing to look for. There are so many brand speakers on here that do not have an internal crossover, and there are so many speakers in here that have piezo tweeters and not titanium horn tweeters. And then even if it does have a titanium horn driver, it may not even have an internal crossover. This right here, for example, the Acoustic Audio BR12. I've had acoustic audios for studios. I had little 6.5 inch studios. They weren't too bad. I did not use them live. A couple of times I did, but I mainly used them for in my room to just practice on and have something in my room to kind of mix with, so I wasn't running a 1,000-watt system in my room. Now, Acoustic Audio, they were decent speakers, but the only thing that turns me off about the Acoustic Audio BR12, which I were looking at the 10s, however, I was reading 2,000 watts max at 1,000 watts RMS per pair. Bass reflex cabinet design, constructed with heavy-duty carpeting, protective corners, and metal mesh grills, built-in pull sockets for stand handles for easy transport, heavy-gauge speaker wire inputs, dual 1/4-inch phono jacks per speaker, 10-inch tweeter, 10-inch by 4-inch optimized compression drivers, 12-inch woofer polyzirconium cone, 4-inch mid-range polyzirconium cone. Frequency response is 28 Hz to 20 kilohertz. Efficiency and sensitivity is 99 decibels at 1 watt at 1 meter. Independence is 8 ohm. Minimum required power is 10 watts per speaker. The main thing that I see here that may not be too bad, even though it has a 4-inch mid-range speaker, I never used any Pro Audio speakers. I had an extra 4-inch or a 3-inch mid-range cone in it, so it may be a decent speaker. It does have a 10-inch by 4-inch optimized compression driver, therefore no piezo or piezo horn, which is another point towards the speaker for a decent speaker. However, I do not see anything that states that it has a internal crossover in it. I'm not saying that this speaker would be bad, but right there, that kind of turns me off. If it does not have an internal crossover in it, I'm not exactly sure if I want to buy that speaker. I may buy it just to see, but I'm probably not. It's probably not going to be as good of a speaker as some of the other low-cost DJ speakers that are available. It may be, like I said, it may be a decent speaker. I'm not going to say anything bad about it because I don't know. But then again, you know, these are just some things you want to watch out for. Now, a pair of those 12s are only $189, and now that's not bad. But then again, it's got one thing that kind of turns me off about buying that speaker. Let's see. What else am I looking for? Now, RMS. RMS usually is somewhat accurate, but I've also been told and heard that a lot of your your manufacturers will actually rate their speaker higher than what it is. And this is for sales. This is a sales marketing scheme. You know, for instance, if the speaker you're looking at is supposedly 500 watts, or let's say 600 watts peak, and 300, because you always cut it in half for your RMS, so it'll be 300 watts. You know, RMS. Now, if you've got 4 tweeters and a woofer, you know, the woofer might be 75 watts, and then the tweeters might be 75 watts apiece. So therefore, you're going to have more. You're going to have more highs than lows, especially if there's no built-in crossover. Generally speaking, most of your speakers that have your speaker cabinets that have 4 tweeters and a woofer, generally speaking, it does not have a crossover in it. So therefore, the sound is not going to be as good as you may want it. I'll show you a perfect example. If you've watched my YouTube and you're a friend and you follow me or whatever, a fan, you'll know what speakers I use, which company I go with, and only because I found them, I'm satisfied with them. They're not a very their speakers are not that expensive, but they have decent quality. There you go, right there. Here is hopefully you can see it. Right there is the compression drive tweeter horn, I should say. The horn on it, which would be your casing, I believe is 6 by 12, 6 inches wide by 12 inches long, and I think it's actually 6 inches deep, I think. I'm not too sure about it, but if you can see in there, it is quite deep. With the dispersion horn like that, you are going to have better sound. because of the length and the width of the horn. The dispersion of it is going to be very widely angled on any dance floor. And of course, with the crossover being in this cabinet, you're going to have exceptional highs, but not too high. It's not going to be ear piercing coming out of your compression drive. And then of course you've got the woofer, which puts out a very decent low end, so it's got a high percentage of your bass signal going to this speaker cabinet. So that's basically pretty much what you want to look for in a speaker cabinet. Compression drive horn and an internal crossover. And of course your wattage and your RMS, your RMS wattage and your peak output or input. You want to make sure that you're not overpowering your speaker cabinet too much, and you want to make sure you're not underpowering it too much as well, because a lot of people don't realize this, that if you overpower it, you're going to blow the speaker. That's not necessarily true. But if you underpower it too much, there's a good chance that you're also going to blow your speaker as well. Because once you start to underpower it a great deal, you're going to get distortion, which will therefore damage the magnet in your woofer and also in your tweeter, your horn. Overpowering it too much, yes, you can blow your speaker. You know, if it's rated at 250 watts and you're putting 350 watts into it, then you have a decent chance you're going to blow it too as well. If you're overpowering your speaker a tad, like 25 watts, you should be in the safe zone. I would say in the safe zone. If you're underpowering it by 25 watts, then you're still in the safe zone. Anything below or anything higher than that, then you've got to be really careful with the amount of sound that your volume of the actual audio that you're throwing into that speaker. You're gonna have to be careful. Let's see, is there anything else? I think that pretty much covers the whole speaker and what to buy and what to look for. I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, but if you want to message me, I could give you some pointers on which speakers not to buy or to stay away from, with my past experiences that I've had with certain brands. And if you want to message me for the speakers to look for, what brands are decent at a low cost, you can message me as well as ask that question. Also, eBay is a good place to shop, Amazon too as well. And if you're not familiar with Amazon, Amazon gives customer reviews on a lot of the stuff that they sell, including pro audio gear. If there's a speaker you see on, let's say there's a set of speakers you see on eBay that you want to know about, go to Amazon.com and type it in and see if there's any customer reviews on it. eBay does not have that option for customer reviews, so Amazon would be a good place to go. YouTube it, see if there's any customer reviews on YouTube for that particular speaker. Ask.com and Google, of course, you can do your reviews on that. But the main thing is to look out for what I had mentioned about the internal crossover and your dome tweeters, and of course the RMS wattage. Decibels are a good thing to look for too as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. If it's decibels are 96 and above, the 96 or higher, then it'll be a great, decent speaker. Hopefully a lot of these companies are accurate on that too, as well as the RM, as well as the wattage rating on the actual speaker cabinet. I hope this was a big help, and thanks for watching. I'm going to post a couple more videos here in a few days on some lighting that I bought. So take my YouTube video and bookmark it, and come back in a few days. Practice and enjoy.